Along with the Israel-Iran conflict, the world is closely monitoring a body of water called the Strait of Hormuz. Around 20% of the world's oil supply passes through there, and its closure will have a significant effect on supply and prices. How ready is the Philippines if this happens? And joining us tonight is Department of Energy Acting Secretary Sharon Garin. Good evening, Secretary, and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening.
Well, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is something that is not going to happen, right? What is your assessment?
Well, historically, it's never happened, says no, because it's also in the interest of the other countries to be able to sell their products, and that's one of the main gateways to transport it. So it's never happened, and there's historically we've checked it, and hindi pa nangyayari to ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, we're bracing for the price hike this week, which will come in 2 tranches, but this won't be the last that we'll be seeing of an increase in the prices of oil products, right?
The prices are out of our control. It's not DOE that says what the price will be, nor the president. It is the international market.
Right.
So, unfortunately, we're very dependent on imports on oil, no, on gas and diesel. But the marching orders of the president is, as much as possible, we protect the Filipino people from the impact. So that's why he has ordered DOE, DOTR, and all the other agencies for us to at least parang walang economic shock in a sense that there will be an abrupt increase on the prices.
Mm-hmm. Is the DOE, will you encourage oil companies to increase buffer stock of petroleum products to somehow stave off the uncertainty in oil supply globally?
Right. We have 2 issues here. Dalawang issue yan yung the result of this conflict. Ano? You have the supply issue and the price issue.
Yeah.
Price difficult to manage, but the president has orders for all agencies to make sure that the impact is not as much on our people, no? Especially yung sumasakay sa mga public utility vehicles. On the supply side, our rules require these companies to have at least 15 days of buffer reserves. No? We have checked. We check it every day, and as per average, they exceed the required 15 days. They actually have like 28 days of reserves. So meron tayong inventory as of today, and some companies comply more than they should. They are required, and some companies that have issues for permitting or whatever is the issue, as long as it's allowed. No, kung procedural lang, we're actually assisting them in finishing all the requirements so that they could comply with the 15 days or at least have 1 month supply.
Yeah. You don't see the need to increase that further? You don't see the need to somehow add more days?
It is ideal that they have more because we don't know when the conflict will stop. No, but this is also money for our own companies. They're the ones paying for that, and that's also financials din nila yan. So it's difficult to ask for more buffer stock kasi 15 lang yung required, and that I guess the 15 days has some limitations na yan. But fortunately, the companies have 30 days of stock. So I think to ask them for more, we can appeal to them, but per regulation, we have to study that again because there might be limitations on the oil companies also.
Secretary Sharon, a lot of people are wondering no, bakit tumama yung 5 peso hike this week kung advance naman tayo nag-order ng oil. We understand this oil that we're getting now, it's from like 8 months ago or something like that. Maybe you can just tell us, parang saan ba nagkakaroon ng price hike ngayon kahit na dati pa in-order itong oil?
Actually, before I was in DOE, I was wondering about that because, di ba, binili mo na no? But the way oil companies work is yung how much will they replace the stock? That's how it's been always. So once you finish this, you have to replace it with whatever is the price. So that's how they do it, and that's the practice of the industry. So kaya hindi siya yung binili na dati, but every time they replace it, they have to pay for it. It's not like they have a stock for a year or for they go month to month, but the adjustments, the price that they charge now is what will be the replacement of what they sell today.
All right, and when still keeping on the finance part of it all, we know that in Congress you were pushing for the tax reform, and now ang suggestion ng transport groups ay suspend yung excise tax on fuels instead, which is 6 pesos per liter. Is that even remotely possible?
It's in the law, though, Sean. No? It's in the law that there is excise tax or even VAT and value-added tax on our fuel. So we cannot, DOE by itself cannot say we suspend the taxes. But on the other side, though, you have to remember also this is about 400 billion pesos a year that also fund many of our projects, basic services of the government. So it's a balance also. If we don't have that, how many bridges, roads, school buildings are constructed out of those collections of the government? So medyo mahirap din isakripisyo yung that kind of earnings of the government kasi baka magreklamo naman yung ibang sector on the yung kulang na serbisyo sa kanilang sector.
Well, Secretary, we do know that the Philippines is heavily reliant on oil imports. But right now, is there a way for us, or are there any active efforts to diversify suppliers just in case traditional routes such as the Strait of Hormuz gets compromised?
Right. It's long term. Yes, there are solutions, but it's long term. It cannot be done today or tomorrow or next week. It will take us years. One of the shorter probably is to push. We've been trying to push for the electric vehicles. Kasi electric vehicles ang cost ng electric vehicles like if it's like gas, no? Kung fuel siya, 5 pesos per kilometer yan. But if it's electric vehicles, it's 1 peso and 71 centavos per kilometer. So, and you're not affected by the variance whenever there's something happens in the Middle East or any part of the globe. Kasi our electric prices are regulated. So, electric vehicles is one good solution. And another one is there is one is the expansion of Malampaya or the extension of Malampaya. They're drilling now. Actually, 3 sites ang drill nila. And then we have about 8 contracts for gas or oil exploration. So those are things that would give us energy security. Di ba? Hindi ka na mag-i-import, the impact would be less. Maybe we cannot supply all of our fuel needs, pero at least kung meron tayong energy security at a certain level, then impact would not be as big.
And in terms of subsidies, Secretary, I understand the DOE has already issued a certification to the DOTR to issue subsidies for the transport sector. Gaano kalaki po? How much are we talking about? And how soon can these fuel subsidies be rolled out?
Ito yung maganda kasi wala pa ngang the escalation is still, we're still in the first steps, but the president already ordered make sure that the riding public are not become vulnerable to this, so we're trying to find solutions as ordered by the president to protect protect yung mga gumagamit ng public utility vehicles most especially. So other than first one is the staggering of the increase kasi ma-prepare mo na eh. No? Yes, the increase ultimately will be the same, 4 pesos. Pero at least if you know that it will increase on a certain day, the day before, you can already buy the cheaper one. And slowly lang, hindi siya malaking impact. The second is the subsidies. The subsidies will be distributed by the Department of Transportation and for PUVs and also by Department of Agriculture for our farmers and fisher folks. So there's inunahan na kasi ng presidente ang orders niya to the departments na to make sure that the impact is not as high, no? So actually we've been having conferences now with the other departments, and in fact we're also scheduled tomorrow to refine what's the plan. Pero there's a 2.5 billion funding under GAA for ayuda. So hopefully we before it kicks in pa nga na it's inflationary na yung level ng fuel, the departments are responding to the call of the president to protect the riding public.
So possible, Secretary, na kahit before tumama ng $80 per barrel yung presyo ng oil, may roll out na yung subsidies?
It is possible, and I think that's already being considered. Kasi if you remember correctly, early on this year, there was already $80 per barrel na eh. Parang mga January or February, ano? So it's been triggered already. So ngayon, we're just refining what's the program, how much each of the recipients will receive, and who are the recipients. So yun lang yung inaayos ngayon. But I think the OTR, I just spoke to Secretary Vince, and they're ready once the logistics are there now.
So when can we expect this? Next week?
I cannot commit to that sense because that's not my department. But I think they're already prepared na. I think anytime they're prepared na, especially when there's already expectation of further increase.
And this 2.5 billion that you mentioned, does that cover even the farmers, or is that just for the transport sector?
I think under the DOTR's 2.5 billion and under DA, if I'm not mistaken, about 600 million.
Okay.
So separate.
Separate.
Okay. Secretary, syempre may tama talaga no, sa mga nagda-drive, sa mga sumasakay na sasakyan. Pero yung power generating sector natin, it's also heavily reliant on diesel. Do you see any impacts in that sector?
That will have an impact, certainly. But most of our users for diesel, kasi especially yung mga islands natin, yun na, I mean, because konti lang yung demand, so it's more diesel or gensets ang nagpo-provide ng electricity natin. Unlike here in Luzon, kasi we have natural gas, we have coal, we have renewable. So, for example, may impact yan kasi whatever is the cost of fuel, yun yung increase, no? But there are solutions also to that. Like for example, the president went to Siquijor the other week,
Right.
And that was not just because of the price increase, but on the stability of the electricity in the island. So there are solutions making it more accessible. So now we're trying to find more supply for Siquijor, as well as more renewable energy, and also we're entering to a MOA with the province of Siquijor in order for in demand side management, ibig sabihin how to conserve, lessen your use of electricity, and also to use renewable energy in their rooftops. So there are solutions, but it's not immediate.
But
Yeah.
what happened there, no? Since you brought it up, I was going to go towards Siquijor, but inunahan niyo ako. So ano ba nangyari doon? Did you finally get to the root of the problem with the supplier and the distributor?
And tama po ba, Secretary, tourism was the key driver on why there was a problem with the demand in Siquijor?
It's not the tourism. we have the projections of what will be the demand of Secure over the next few months or years. Talagang mag-i-increase siya. It's a very progressive in terms of tourism, not just tourism but also industry. So ang problema talaga, we had a problem with the supply side, no? Ibig sabihin yung generation company. Kasi nasisira palagi ang yung gensets nila eh. So up to a point na halos 10 hours a day ang blackouts nun eh. So that's not good because naman, Sikihor is getting more and more popular, and then there are more tourists. So they have the momentum already. Nakakasira talaga ng tourism ng Sikihor and negosyo ng Sikihor. So we found the root cause. It's the supply side. So we're fixing that. We already all the gensets. Out of all the gensets, I think there are 9 plus 2 pa yata, so there's 11.
So it's the government that's coming to the rescue of this private company. Will you rescind the contract of that generation company?
Well, let's fix the problem first before we go to the legal side. Kasi nakikita lang yan eh. If you rescind the contract, who will supply the power, di ba? So those are things that we're trying to fix also. Have more supply, have more option. Pero it's good kasi when the president went there, we had a succession of meetings, and we already have like a calendar of all the deliverables that we have, all stakeholders actually. Ayusin ng SIPCOR yung mga genset nila, kailan ayusin nila yung connection ng mga gensets nila. Even the electric co-op has also deliverables, even DOE, ERC. So medyo nakaschedule na siya. So by that, what was the concern of the president is that, yes, we should fix this now, but make sure that come 2026, the long-term solution should be in place already. So that's what we are following, because he wants to make sure that hindi lang to band-aid solution para sa mga taga-Sikihor. So it should be a long. So we're addressing that. We're fixing the contracts, as you mentioned, not canceling it, but we're contracts.
The penalties for sure, dapat, diba?
The penalties is not the regulator of the penalties is actually ERC. So there are also parallel activities with ERC. Also, they're doing their own investigation, their show cause orders, and all that. But on the other hand, I don't think it is the priority of the president to go after the ones at fault. What he wants first is stabilize muna yung electricity para it can go on in Sikihor muna.
Right. So, Secretary, this really should hasten the march towards increased renewable energy. How close are you to the target? By 2030, dapat 35%?
Yes, ma'am. By 2030, 35%. I think we will reach that. DOE is quite confident. In fact, we are number 2 in the world in investment attractiveness as when it comes to, that's a Bloomberg study, that we're number 2 in the world in attractiveness for investments in renewable. In fact, we're on track. Tapos we have actually the president actually inaugurated the biggest solar farm, 3,500. That's really a huge jump for us. Kasi ito yung pinakamalaki. I'm not sure if in the world, but at least in the area of Southeast Asia, I think that's the biggest. So we're on track on renewables. Hopefully the technology also improves. Kasi marami din kailangan yan to stabilize it, like the batteries, all that, so even the grid. So but as to installed capacity, I think we will be able to reach that.
Last question for me, Sec Guerin. How close are we to 100% rural electrification, which I believe, based on the roadmap, should be by 2032, way past your term. But how many % are we at the moment, would you say?
We're always high naman, Sean, but our population rate is also fast, So the more people, the more houses. So kahit sabihin mo na we cannot at this pace right now. We're trying to reach the 100, but it's not possible as of now. But as per instructions of the president, we are pushing for 100%. So marami na yung studies on how much we will need every year. So we've actually calculated all the funding that we need. It's quite high, ano? Pero there are other options naman, like deploying renewable energy. Kasi for example, if you've seen the news, NEA and DepEd had a joint project of putting solar panels in yung pinakamalayong mga schools. Yes. And they've done that. They've added even new TVs and new Starlink connection and all that. So possible naman siya as long as all agencies come together as instructed by the president, and also there's also participation of the private. Kaya maganda ngayon. I just want to add. Kaya maganda ngayon yung the effect of this oil price hike.
It's making us look at other options.
Yeah.
Hastening.
And also says, di ba yung president announced yesterday, like a couple of days lang that he's called for the oil companies to stagger the increase. And today we had a meeting with all the oil companies in the morning, 10 o'clock. No? Pagkahapon nag-announce na sila ng staggering nila. So they responded well, and our next meetings with them is kung pwede nilang ma-expand or ma-extend or increase all their promos or discounts. Kasi many of these companies already have PUV lanes, PUV discounts, and we're asking them out of their patriotic sentiment na matulungan yung bayan natin. Because we don't regulate the oil companies. We're appealing to them because the law deregulated oil. So now we're asking them for their own contribution to our country. And they've responded naman. The staggering, they've announced today. And hopefully within the next few days, they will have more promotions, especially for PUVs, para hindi na tayo mag-increase ng fare, which is what I think the president really wants.
All right, with that, Secretary, we discussed breaking news and the big picture pa. Thank you so much for talking to us here in The Big Story. That was Department of Energy Acting Secretary Sharon Garin.